Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Of course, my name is Blitzwinger, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to, of course, another LEGO Marvel Superheroes review. Today, we're actually going to be taking a look at the biggest of the sets for the Avengers lineup for, of course, Age of Ultron LEGO Marvel Superhero releases. And this is, of course, the Avengers Quinjet City Chase. Now, of course, if we count the helicarrier release, that's a bigger release, but this is the ones that actually made it to store shelves. So, nonetheless, of course, the Avengers Quinjet City Chase is a set of 722 pieces. It barely fits in my camera shots here. As you can see, it actually does not fit. Some of it gets cut off. So by the way, I wanted to let you guys know that obviously there's not going to be an assembly animation after this, just because this set would take ages to assemble. And I mean, those sets that are 300 pieces take me about 2 hours to animate like that. So just hope that you guys understand why that is the case, and going forward, if a set is this large, I will not be doing an animation for it. That being said, though, as you can see, the box is absolutely gorgeous for the set. It is an absolutely beautiful design. We can see the Quinjet right here, looking quite stylish. Mr. Captain America in a shot right there as well. We can see the entire lineup of minifigures in the set, of course, featuring also the Super Jumper. And then, of course, we can see another vehicle right here for Cho Research, as well as Iron Man, Ultron, and of course, Ultimate Ultron, and then of course Mr. Vision, which is the minifigure I am most excited in this set to see. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's go on ahead and take a look at what is inside this lovely box. Alrighty guys, so let's kick things off with the smaller vehicles in this lineup. Of course, I know that you guys are excited to see the Quinjet, and we'll look at it in just a moment, but first and foremost, let's take a look at the Cho Research truck and also Mr. Captain America's Avenger Cycle, or maybe it's called Avenge Cycle, I'm guessing. So let's begin with the smallest, and we'll move on to the biggest slowly but surely. So here's, of course, Mr. Captain America's motorcycle of choice. I really hope that we see him ride this thing in the actual film. Of course, at the time of this recording, I have not seen the movie out. I've not seen the movie, and the movie is not even out yet, because if it was out, you betcha I would have seen it already. But nonetheless, of course, as you can see, the motorcycle is actually quite nicely done. This little detail right here, you might be wondering if it's printed on. No, it is actually a sticker, and you can kind of tell on certain angles that it is indeed a sticker. There are actually two of them applicable on both sides. It's a very simple assembly. Basically, you have the skeleton and then this chassis that goes on top of it. There's a little bit of piece assembly on the front and on the back of the cycle, and then of course the wheels themselves. As you can see, Captain America rides it quite comfortably, has plenty of room for him, which is awesome. You can take him off of it quite easily as well, just obviously unhinging him that way. The little handlebars here do move up and down, and there's also quite a bit of space for Captain America's shield, which is really nice attention to detail. Plus there's an extra little peg right there, so if you want, you could maybe even have some stop motion scenes, you know, where somebody's trying to jump on the cycle, or maybe it is actually Captain America doing so. You could even have him, like, let's say here, right, and then he throws on the shield onto that position right there. So plenty of different ways to go ahead and display whichever figure you would like to put on here, and also of course their accessories, which is also quite a nice attention to detail. So again, this is one of those sets that I really love because there's a ton of playability with it, which is awesome. Speaking of playability, here is the Cho Research truck, which is actually quite a nice little compact build. It's a little bit smaller than maybe I would have liked it to be, but then again, most of the pieces in this set and most of the attention in this set went to, of course, the Quinjet, which is understandable. It's kind of the shining piece of this set, but we still get a lot of really cool little details on here, which is really nice. So first and foremost, of course, as you can see, we have these little holding posts which you can clip your figures onto. In fact, I think even on the box they have Ultron clipping onto this, or Ultimate Ultron. I'm just going to call him Ultron going forward, though. So that's a pretty cool little feature right there that you can go ahead and play around with. There's some really nice attention to detail throughout as well. Of course, as you can see, the headlight here is quite an intricate but cool assembly. There's a nice little sticker for, of course, the license plates. This is all actually stickered in as well. The side detail right here, these are blue bricks, but then this is actual sticker. It's really nice how they were able to match the sticker coloring to the actual plastic coloring, because it doesn't look weird. So it's a nice smooth transition, which is great. Definitely like that quite a bit. We have nice attention with the side mirrors, so that's good stuff there as well. You have opening doors on both sides of the vehicle right there. so that's great too. So you can go ahead and obviously put your pilot in there, which is quite nice as well. And then we get to the back of the truck where you will get predominantly most of the play features. Sorry about that. That's not supposed to actually be there because that's Ultron's flight thingies. But basically, the way that it works is actually quite simple. You have this little feature right here, this little tab right here, and when you pull on the tab, boom, the whole thing comes apart, opens up, and reveals what is inside, and that is the capsule that, of course, holds the Vision, which is pretty cool. So maybe this is a bit of a spoiler for the film that there's going to be a chase scene where Ultron is trying to retrieve, I'm guessing, the Vision out of this vehicle, and I'm guessing the Vision is going to be in... I'm guessing maybe this scene takes place somewhere in Hong Kong or something like that, because it says Cho Research, so it makes me think that it might be somewhere over in an Asian country, especially because there's also Asian hieroglyphs right here, and I know that they filmed scenes there, so obviously makes me think of that. But it's really, really cool to see this little play feature right here. Again, it's really nice to see this many play features for this entire thing. It's really, really simple to put this thing back together. As you can see, they are actually really nice, sturdy pieces, so the walls come off quite easily, but they come back on quite easily as well. There's 2 tabs, and obviously plenty of tabs down here, and you just push them back into position, and there you go. You have the Cho Research truck fully assembled once again. Obviously, you can also clip your characters onto here. There's a little standing point right there, and the idea is that when that happens, they can fly off and be basically, I guess, pulled off of it, which is pretty neat as well. So, that being said, now that we've taken a look at the smaller vehicles for this set, why don't we, ladies and gentlemen, go on ahead and take a look at the bigger vehicle in this set, the biggest vehicle in this set, I should say, and that is the Quin Jet. Alrighty guys, so now we move on to the main event of the evening, and that is the Quin Jet, and this thing is huge, and I mean massive. I've never bought a Star Wars Lego set, so I don't know like how to compare it in terms of spaceship sizes, but this is the biggest Lego vehicle that I own, and I am super duper happy that I actually have had a chance to own this thing, because it is awesome. It is huge, massive, bulky, but it's got so many cool play features, and I absolutely am in love with this thing. So, that being said, just to give you an idea of scale, so there's the wingspan of this thing, so wing to wing. This is my hand, and I don't have small hands, so it just shows you how massive this thing is. It's obviously not too aerodynamic because, as you can see, it is an absolutely ginormous, bulky design. So in that regard, I guess it's not really aerodynamic or would actually be able to fly, I'm guessing, with such tiny, thin wings. I don't see it actually taking off the air. But speaking of wings and flaps, this thing has a gajillion wings and flaps. You, of course, have all the moving flaps on the actual wings, so you can obviously do different display features with this. You could have it grounded maybe like this, so that's really, really great. You have all these top flaps right up here, which not only do they connect onto a shifting mechanism, but the actual base to which they connect to is also a shifting mechanism. So as you can see, you're going to be able to do a lot of different styles of display for this. Like maybe when it's going like hyperspeed, you can have all the panels down for more of an aerodynamic look, and then maybe when you want some sort of a offensive look or something like that, you could pull them all up. So that's really, really great that you get lots and lots of different display features with this thing. Another thing that you get with this thing is a giant headache in terms of stickers applications. So that's the one thing that I will say I have against this thing, and my one knock against the entire Quinjet is the fact that there's a gajillion stickers to apply. I mean, all of these are little stickers that you have to put into place. There's stickers here, stickers here, stickers here. I mean, it just took me a gajillion years to get them right, or as good as I possibly could. And if you're a person like me, there's some more stickers right here that you tried over and over again to get them straight. It's a nightmare. It takes way too much time. That's why I really, really wish that going forward, Lego would consider to do more and more actual printing instead of sticker work. Again, that's just my personal preference, but for me, I would much rather see that be the case. Additionally to that, we have some lovely design right here in the cockpit. As you can see, plenty of room right there. You could probably easily fit 2 pilots in there, 2 minifigures I should say, quite easily without any issues, but you'll also have to keep in mind that it's kind of meant for obviously one pilot, the way that it's structured on the inside there with the pegs and such, so keep that in mind. You'll be able to fit more than one, but it's meant for one pilot. I really like the intricacies of the design on there. It's really, really nice. It almost looks like it would be quite a comfortable place to sit, of course, if it wasn't made out of plastic. But now let's get to some of the play features. So first of all, we have this, again, another thing that is an alternate look is the fact that you have this kind of shifting cockpit. You're supposed to keep it down because that's kind of the look that the Quinjet goes for, but if you want, you can keep it going straight as well, like this, for again, maybe more of an aerodynamic look. So that's quite cool as well. By the way, more flaps right here as well. I have these tucked in all the time because I don't like the way that it look on the front, but you can have those opened up as well. Now, of course, the vehicle rolls, which is awesome. So of course, if it's coming down onto a landing strip, you can obviously have it land and recreate landing scenes, which is great. Then we have firing stud missiles right here, so you can just flick those. I'm not going to do that because I've already lost a couple of studs that way. So again, they do give you some spares, which thank you very much, LEGO Group, because I am constantly firing these things away and then end up losing them. So that's absolutely fantastic. Then we have probably my favorite feature, which is actually right down here. You might have noticed that there's this rope hanging off, and you might be asking yourself, what is that all about? Well, that is actually a pretty cool little feature that by pressing the A button right here, it's only present on the right wing, and when you press that, boom, it drops down the only Black Widow off the Quinjet. Or of course, you could have any minifigure attached there, but obviously Black Widow is the one that would be the one attached to this, especially in this set. So it's just really, really cool to see that they added that little feature there. I absolutely love this feature. It's really kind of a heist-like feature, or allows you to recreate maybe some sort of, like, you know, spy movie. So that's great, because then you could use this thing for any and all stop motions in that regard as well. So that's absolutely fantastic. As you can see, the way it works is actually quite a simple mechanism. Basically, when you pin your figure onto here, when you attach the figure by these little tabs right here, this tab would push up, making the button come up here, and then basically you just force it down, and then the minifigure detaches and flies off on the rope. So that's absolutely simple but genius at the same time in terms of design. So I really, really like that kind of thing when they have those types of things available. By the way, those were all my spare studs to fire off, so as you can see, they give you plenty of those. But speaking of things that are plenty, there is plenty of room in the back of this thing as well. I'm not sure if you guys can actually see it. It's kind of hard to make out, but there's lots and lots of room on the back side of this thing. But the coolest feature actually comes in when you press the black tab right up at the top, because when you do that, boom, it opens up the doors right here. And as you can see, you could kind of use this thing two ways. One is for the little thing that comes for vision, which is neat, but additionally, you can totally see, obviously, let's say Mr. Captain America's bike in here, right? And let's say there's a bit of a chase scene, so the bike goes in, right, like so, and then you close it up, and then let's say as the Quinjet is coming down lower, boom, it opens up. Obviously, the bike would land cooler, and there you go. Captain America is now ready to ride off and take off into the action, which is absolutely awesome. So, just generally speaking, before we get to the looking at the minifigures in more detail, you might have noticed, as I've shown before and I've talked about with this set, there's just an incredible amount of play features with it. It's honestly, I think, the most toy-like in terms of action figures and such Lego set that I've gotten so far. Don't get me wrong, all the other Lego sets that I've reviewed and such have been a ton of fun to mess around with, recreate little scenes, do stop motion, and so on and so forth. But this set just has so much to give in terms of play features. It's just a ton of fun to explore. You have the firing missiles, the takeoff for the spy-like scenes, the opening belly of the actual jet, which is awesome. Lots and lots of designs in terms of the flaps, the really cool and intricate cockpit, the two other very neat vehicles in the form of course, the Cho research truck and the Avenger cycle, which is awesome. And then additionally to all of that, of course, ladies and gentlemen, we have to look at the minifigures. Alrighty guys, so first and foremost, of course, we've got the first Avenger himself, and that is Captain America. I have to say, everything about this figure I like, except for the headpiece. I think the headpiece is quite a bit of a misfire, in my personal opinion, on the Lego Group's team. Again, that's just my opinion. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to get into a little bit of a discussion. Not a debate or a heated debate, but we can obviously just keep it nice and civil. So, that being said, the reason why I like the torso and such, I like the attention to detail with the gloves, for example. It's really nice that they went ahead and actually made his hands right there brown, so that's good attention to detail. I think the print work on the chest there is quite nice. Good design, looks really sweet with all the belt buckles and straps and such, and that follows through onto the back here, and in that regard I have no complaints. However, I think I would have preferred to see a helmet instead of the printed head. I think it would have been nicer to see something along the lines of what we saw with Ultron or Iron Man, where there are actual pieces that slip onto here. I would have preferred that to be the helmet. B, I think that by doing that, the A for America would have looked nicer, had a little bit more of a pop to it. Here it just seems like it blends in and it's kind of boring. And additionally to that, I don't know why, but it looks to me like the face skin, like the color of the skin, is just a little off. Like I feel like it needs to be brighter or lighter, because I think it just looks a little bit of a weird color. Like it kind of doesn't really match the color that I would think of. Nonetheless, of course, right here is also his accessory, which is the awesome shield. I think this shield they absolutely nailed, and at this point I think that they've got it just the way that it needs to look. So that's absolutely fantastic. So we then move on to, of course, Black Widow, which is actually the very first time that I own a Black Widow minifigure, so that is awesome. I really love the hairpiece that they chose for her. It looks absolutely fantastic. The one thing I will say, I don't know if I really like the expression they chose for her, because I don't know why. Am I the only one that feels like this smirk is kind of villainous or evil? Like, to me, the smirk that she's giving just looks kind of like, oh, is she evil, or is she going to be a bad guy in this whole thing? Or, I guess, a bad girl, because she's a, yeah. Well, nonetheless, of course, as you can see, the print work there on the chest is quite nice, obviously to go along with the stylish outfit that Black Widow always sports. You can also see her blaster there. Again, I would like to see Lego change it up and give some new blasters to these characters, because it's kind of getting stale that most of the time if we get a blaster, it's usually that one. In fact, you actually receive two of them in this set, so of course she can be going dual wielding mode as well. Now, additionally to that, if we remove her hairpiece right here, you can see the other expression, which I actually prefer quite a bit. I don't know, I just feel like it looks a little bit more natural, whereas this one seems to be a little bit villainous, doesn't it? Like, it seems like kind of an evil or kind of a smirk that she's hiding something, which, to be fair, if it's Black Widow, she might be hiding something. But that expression right there is a lot more fitting for this scene, and I don't know, it just does not look as villainous to me as the other expression did. It just seemed like the other expression was a little bit too mysterious for my liking. Alrighty guys, next up we move on to, of course, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the one, the only Iron Man Mark 43. I believe with the Age of Ultron sets we've got Mark 45 and Mark 43, so this is one of the ways that you can get the Mark 43. Of course, as you can see, some really nice stylish paint work for Mr. Iron Man here. I honestly think it would be kind of cool if the Lego team at some point tried to do an Iron Man armor that is done almost like, you know, those space suit guys? If they did like a pullover armor, I think that would look quite cool, and I would love to see what they could come up with. So I wouldn't mind seeing a version of Iron Man done up that way. But as you can see, the helmet is also quite stylish. Some really nice work actually even on the top of the helmet there, on the visor piece right here. You can see right there, that looks quite cool. That plate, of course, the faceplate does indeed come up. If I can actually, if I can actually make it come up. In fact, I am failing miserably here, so let's try that again. But here we go. As you can see, you can lift the plate itself. I don't know why I always find it that he looks quite goofy when you do that. Like, he looks really funny. But you can actually take the whole helmet off as well, so you have that look going. I would love if they would have given you a hairpiece then, just so that you could kind of display him in two different ways, and I think that would be a good attention to detail. Speaking of attention to detail though, if we flip the minifigure to the back here, you can see right there he also does have an angry face, so just in terms of what that would look like, there you go. So you have both display features available to you, but we're not gonna get angry. We're gonna stay nice and happy with Mr. Tony Stark, right? Right, Tony? Tony, you're a faceplate! Tony! And the being that, of course, caused that faceplate to fly off into mystery. I did find it, don't worry, guys. But, of course, that is the one, the only Ultron. Or Ultimate Ultron. As you can see, there are no strings attached to him. I checked, guys. There aren't any strings attached to him. You might be asking yourself, what the heck are you talking about? But watch the trailers for Age of Ultron and you will know quite quickly. But, of course, this is quite an awesome minifigure. I love the fact that I get to say that we have gotten an Ultron minifigure. That is just awesome. It's one of those characters that you wouldn't think would get that kind of attention if it wasn't for the Avengers movie. So that is absolutely fantastic. Really, really super duper glad that we got this figure. As you can see, there are some really cool alien almost like designs going on right there on the print work. I really love the way that the helmet comes together. It's actually 3 different pieces, which is phenomenal. I really do enjoy the way that they constructed that. If you want a little bit of an insight into how this whole thing comes together, basically we have this kind of bottom jawline. Then there's, of course, the translucent orange head, which for some reason does not want to come off right now. There we go. And the actual head, as you can see, also has these little red dots on it to achieve that kind of Ultron look, which is phenomenal. And then on top of that sits the helmet, and when you combine all 3, it looks awesome because you have that translucent orange coming through, the red dots right there coming through on the mouth, which looks awesome because it gives it that kind of energetic look, which is cool. And then, of course, the helmet at the top finishes it all off quite nicely. On the back here, of course, as you can see, we have some additional detail work as well to continue that skeletal-like look that Ultron has, and again, some really lovely silver, nice kind of metallic finish to the whole thing, which is fantastic. But we still have one more minifigure to go. Alrighty, guys, and of course, last but certainly not least is the minifigure that I was most excited for in this set. I will admit that Ultron has become my favorite figure of this set because I just really love the way that that design comes together for the helmet and such. It just looks super duper sweet, but Vision is certainly a close second. I really love the fact that we've gotten a Vision minifigure. He looks absolutely fantastic. Of course, as you can see, he sports the new softer cloth cape, which is cool. Again, I prefer these. I know some people don't, but for example, just think about even in this set, you know that little chamber that he's stuck in? If they use those older capes, imagine what would happen to that cape. That cape would be all like shriveled up and would look awful. So I think that again, this cape is a lot more better in terms of display, and then additionally to that, in terms of play, it has more durability and less likely to bend and just look really terrible after a few plays. Now, additionally, I forgot to point out on the back here of the figure, he does have some lovely print work going through as well, so that is definitely present there. And again, I really like the color choices with this guy. They're very kind of unique colors. Like, even though they are similar to the colors that we've seen Vision take on in the comics and such, and in cartoon shows and so on and so forth, but I just really like the kind of olive green that they chose for this guy. It looks very unique and definitely makes him stand out of all the other minifigures that I actually have. Alrighty, guys, so there you have it. Of course, that was the Avengers Quinjet City Chase review. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to hit that like button. It would be absolutely phenomenal if we could hit 500 likes for this review. Of course, as you can see, also I forgot to mention that there is the super jumper available in the set, which is something that has become quite common across all of the superhero sets. In fact, I don't think that any of the new sets don't have one. So just keep that in mind, that usually if I don't mention it, it is certainly still present. Now, that being said, of course, overall, I think the set is absolutely awesome. Of course, it is a higher end set, which means it's going to run you quite a bit in comparison to the others. But in my mind, I think you get what you paid for, because in this set, it's just a really lovely combinations of awesome vehicles, and then along with that, a really lovely collection of mini figures. So that being said, thank you guys so very much for watching, of course, today's review. Have a fantastic day, guys, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out. See you later, alligators. Bye-bye, everybody.